All right, y'all, let's talk about the album.
I'm the referee, you can't play me, baby. I'm hotter than the summer, can't shade me.
All right, so isn't it crazy that apparently Cowboy Carter was supposed to come first, right? And then Renaissance was supposed to come after that, right? I think that they said because of the state of the world, I don't have the exact thing or quote or whatever, but I think they said because of the state of the world, Beyonce was like, you know, people gonna want to dance, they want to feel good, so let's release Renaissance first. And it kind of makes sense to me now that we think about it because, you know, everyone was like, wait, what's going on with the visuals? Like, what's happening with that? So, yeah, if the plan was to release Cowboy Carter first, I can understand needing to rearrange the shit when it comes to the visuals. It would make a lot of sense. So I'm just gonna talk really briefly about some of my favorites from the album, and then we can get into Parkwood's statement on the album as a whole at the end of the video. So listening to this, right? Listening to the album, I just want to get this out the way. I am not a country girl like that. So I mean, if you looking for an expert or a connoisseur on country genre, this is definitely not your video, okay? So I'm just letting you know. But to me, the album goes from like more traditional country-ish sounds to like modern country sounds. And then after that, it goes into like Beyonce's take on country, like Beyonce's country. And so if we're separating well, first of all, I think it was a really great way to set the album up. And just like to me, it made listening to it just flow really well. There's a progression that you can feel while you're listening to it, right? But to be honest, most of my favorite songs on this album come from Beyonce's country sound, like that part of the album, right? Like off the top of my head, immediately, I'm thinking of Yaya. Like, I think Yaya might be one of my favorite Beyonce songs, like, ever. This is like one of the favorite Beyonce songs ever. And I think it's probably I think that one is my favorite on this album. It just, it once it latches onto your wig, it does not stop going. Like, I was like, and this woman is fucking singing on this track, bitch. Like, oh my God, I cannot wait to hear Yaya mixed with Proud Mary on stage. Like, you know, it just has to happen. It just has to happen. Like I said, vocally, she was showing out. It felt like it was, the song felt like it was already recorded live. Like, bitch, it felt like I was already listening to it live. High-ass energy, very unique structure, harmonies, crazy. Right, so immediately I was like, yo, this song, once I heard Yaya, I was like, yeah, I think this is my girl. I like this one. I'm a Yaya stan at this point. I think Riverdance was fun, right? Like, it's such a fun mix of genres. Bounce on the shit dance. Bounce on the shit dance. And speaking of mixing of genres, Sweet Honey Buckin' is really one of those like clever mixes of different styles that just makes sense. The percussion is unrelenting, especially in the beginning, just getting you through that song, and then it switches up halfway through talking about some bucking, a good night. Whoa. Can't forget about Tyrant. She said that she is such a tyrant. Every time that she rides it, if it's one thing that Beyonce is going to let us know, if it's one thing that Beyonce is going to remind us of, is that she be fucking, okay? You know what I'm saying? She be screwing. She don't let Jay-Z rest for one moment, girl. I know he be in there just like, okay, somebody got an inhaler or something, like, what's the tea? I just know it. Jolene, of course, is another standout. Like any good bird anthem, like I'm definitely going to get my life a bit. And of course, we kind of predicted Jolene was going to be on this, but I love that she remixed so much of the fucking words. I feel like Dolly Parton was just like, Jolene, please stop. Like, I'm begging, like, don't do this. Like, please back up. Like, I'm really, please. Like, what do I got to do to get you off my man? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of what Dolly Parton was talking about in Jolene. But Jolene's like, bitch, I'm going to shoot your ass. Keep trying me if you want to. I'm going to beat that ass. So, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, damn, bitch, Jolene been getting dragged for decades. She's like, bitch, can y'all let go of my wig, bitch? My fucking scalp is burning. It's itching, bitch. Like, can y'all stop dragging me? Both Dolly and Beyonce dragging the shit out you, girl. And like I said, Beyonce sounded like she came with some guns. Like, she came with a bullet on her mind, bitch. Like, oh my God. So that was fun. That was definitely fun to listen to. And, I knew the album wouldn't just be traditional country, right? But, even if you are not a fan of country, because of the way that she mixed so many genres and so many styles, even if you don't like country, you're gonna be like twerking your ass a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? Put an 808 with some fucking with some guitars, bitch, and a banjo, bitch. I'm gonna shake my ass. Hey, bitch. And a fiddle, bitch, a ukulele, hoe, bitch, I'm gonna shake my ass. I'm gonna twerk my ass. So that's exactly what the album gives, especially mostly towards the end, which is why I like the end of the album so much. Let's get into this statement from Parkwood Entertainment on Cowboy Carter. The album is the cornucopia of sounds that Beyonce loves and grew up listening to between visits and eventually performances at the Houston Rodeo. The album wraps itself in pure instrumentation in a celebratory, authentic gumbo of sounds using, among others, the accordion, harmonica, washboard, acoustic guitar, bass, ukulele, more instruments. There's also plenty of hand claps, horseshoe steps, boot stamps on hardwood floors, and yes, those are Beyonce's nails as percussion. That's when Dolly Parton and Patti LaBelle was sitting down, I think, and they did that. Child, I'm fucking the mic up, but you know what I mean. So Beyonce said, "The joy of creating music is that there are no rules. The more I see the world evolving, the more I felt a deeper connection to purity with artificial intelligence and digital filters and programming. I wanted to go back to real instruments, and I used very old ones. I didn't want some layers of instruments like strings, especially guitars and organs, perfectly in tune. I kept some songs raw and leaned into folk. All the sounds were so organic and human, everyday things like the wind snaps, and even the sound of birds and chickens, the sounds of nature." Here they talk about Southern and Western culture being the inspiration. They talk about the music, rodeo, Western films, and the stories of the original cowboys of the West. They talk about Beyonce first seeing diversity at the rodeo among people who love country music and an Americana lifestyle steeped in community, culinary offerings, blah, blah, blah. It was for everyone. There were Black people, Hispanic people, Native American cowboys who made their valuable, authentic allowances to the culture. Beyonce said, "My process is that I typically have to experiment. I enjoy being open to have the freedom to get all aspects of things I love out. And so I worked on many songs. I recorded probably 100 songs. My goodness." Jeez, once that is done, and I know she always record like a bunch of songs, but my goodness, once that is done, I am able to put the puzzle together and realize the consistencies and the common themes, and then create a solid body of work. The character Cowboy Carter was birthed from these experiences and inspired by the original Black cowboys of the American West. The word cowboy itself was used in a derogatory way to describe the former slaves as boys who were the most skilled and had the hardest jobs of handling horses and cattle alike. In destroying the negative connotation, what remains is the strength and resiliency of these men who were the true definition of Western fortitude. Beyonce said that this album took over 5 years. Jeez. It does make sense because years and years back, a lot of people were unhappy that she was at the CMAs. And remember I said in my previous video on Cowboy Carter that moment at the CMAs kind of inspired her to be like, all right, girl, I'm finna do a countryish album on you hoes. If y'all really mad, y'all gonna be madder when I'm done here. So the fact that she was working on it for so long, it's just like, wow. Okay, and remember I said this. She said, "I was initially going to put Cowboy Carter out first, but with the pandemic, there was too much heaviness in the world. We wanted to dance. We deserved to dance." So, I don't know. I think that this idea was definitely a good one. I think that putting Renaissance out first was definitely a smart move, especially given the reasons that she listed, right? Like, I definitely appreciate Renaissance coming first. That's just because I'm a homo. Anyway, and the musical alliance here includes contributions from an impressive list of artists as vocalists, musicians, and orators, including Tanner Adele. Hopefully I'm pronouncing her name right, but she's like one of the few Black girls in country music, so that was definitely fun to see. Tiara Kennedy, Dolly Parton, Willie Nelson, Linda Martell, Post Malone and Miley Cyrus was on it, and I'm just like, okay. I mean, y'all, I don't know, because we're having this conversation about music and race, and you got these nigga cosplayers up here. I just like, okay, I get it. Okay. Mainstream tees, all right. But I was just like, girl, we could have just stuck with the all black country artists, no shade. But it's okay, all right. So yeah, all these artists. In the last part of the statement, Beyonce calls this the best music that she's ever made. I would love to see what you guys think. Do you think it is the best music that she's ever made? How did you enjoy the album? What are some of your favorite songs? Let me know in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching. Love y'all so much, and make sure that you have a good goddamn evening.
And that's why you can't take me, you hate me. I don't want your nigga, you crazy. That nigga too lazy. I need me a nigga who can tame me. Coming through, we make your nigga switch.